This is Andy Elliott, sales trainer and business coach and former used car salesman involved in fraud. I signed up to be contacted by one of his recruiters, and he wanted me to sign up for one of the VIP packages at one of Andy's sales retreats.
It's swag bag, you get closer seats, you're more closer to the stage, you're in better eye contact with Andy.
So I asked him if I could do something one-on-one with Andy.
Well, bro, it's funny that you say that because we actually have this thing called Bloodline Breaker, where you'll work out with Andy, where he'll do like a mastermind for like 3 hours.
The internet is flooded with so-called gurus selling the dream of success through overpriced courses and mentorship programs. Our mission is simple: expose these scams, uncover the truth behind their operations, and help you make smarter decisions with your hard-earned money. Today, the focus is on one of the most aggressive alpha male sales trainers online, Andy Elliott. Andy Elliott built his reputation as the ultimate sales guru, claiming to have created a 9-figure business in just 3 years. His social media is packed with aggressive motivational rants, flashy claims of training over 11,000 businesses, and promises of turning anyone into a top-performing salesperson. He calls himself the world's fastest-growing sales trainer and boasts about running a company worth over $100 million. But behind this carefully crafted persona lies a darker truth. His entire success story is built on fraud. Elliott's brand revolves around his supposed mastery of sales, particularly in the car industry. He founded the Ellliot Group, a company pushing his Alpha Leader Mindset training program, which he claims teaches people how to dominate in sales. But his methods are extreme. He forces seminar attendees to strip off their shirts in front of an audience to prove his point about maintaining peak physical condition. He humiliates people on stage, breaking them down emotionally before positioning himself as their only hope for success. And here's the kicker. He claims his employees must have six-pack abs to keep their jobs, a policy that likely breaks several employment laws. But none of his claims are as bold as the one he built his empire on. The claim that he made $720,000 in a single year selling used cars in Norman, Oklahoma. He waves around what appears to be a pay stub as proof, convincing thousands of people that if they just follow his methods, they can achieve the same. That single claim is the foundation of his entire brand. But there's a problem. It's a complete lie. Court records reveal that Elliott's so-called sales success was based entirely on fraud. During his time at Big Red Kia, he wasn't some elite salesman crushing deals. He was the mastermind behind a massive scam that involved falsifying loan applications, fabricating down payments, and manipulating banks into approving bad loans. He ran a scheme called King Cash, where he and his team would claim customers had made cash down payments of $1,500 when they hadn't paid a dime. This tricked banks into approving car loans based on fake financials. For years, the scam raked in cash until it all came crashing down. When the fraud was uncovered, Ellliott did what no self-respecting alpha would ever do. He betrayed his entire team. Instead of taking responsibility, he struck a deal with prosecutors, throwing his colleagues under the bus in exchange for full immunity. He testified against his own team, dodging all charges, while those who worked with him were convicted of wire fraud, forgery, and identity theft. From 2014 to 2019, multiple members of his team were found guilty and sentenced. Ellliott, he walked away without a scratch, thanks to his willingness to sell out everyone around him. So much for alpha loyalty. And now, years later, he's repackaging his fraudulent past as a success story, selling overpriced courses to people who have no idea how deep his deception runs. One of the most ridiculous parts of this scheme? A completely fake pawn shop. According to court documents, Ellliott and his crew made up an imaginary business where customers supposedly pawned items as down payments for cars. Except, here's the catch. Nothing was ever actually pawned. The loan paperwork listed laughably high valuations for everyday junk. A PlayStation 3? Apparently worth $4,700. A weed eater? Also $4,700. An Ozark Trail tent? A whopping $6,000. These fake transactions allowed Elliott's team to push through loans for people who couldn't afford them, racking up huge sales numbers while setting up buyers for financial ruin. But Elliott's shady tactics didn't stop at paperwork. When the fraud started coming to light, he took things even further. Intimidation, bribery, and straight-up threats. One of the key players in the scheme was a loan officer named Donna Mullins from Tinker Loans. She was supposed to approve car loans fairly, but Ellliot had other plans. When he found out she was struggling financially, he saw an opportunity. Instead of playing fair, he bribed her with cash to push through loans for Big Red Kia and Norman Mitsubishi, dealerships tied to his boss. But when lenders started catching on, things got ugly. Ellliot's boss, worried that Donna might talk, sent an email to the CEO of the lender, warning them to back off. And Ellliot? He was given a job. Make sure Donna kept her mouth shut. He did exactly that, using threats to keep her in line. He harassed her over the phone, in person, and even at church, making sure she didn't expose what was really going on. When people started asking questions, he and his colleagues held entire workout sessions to rehearse ways to shift the blame onto her. When the pressure got too high, she was forced to resign. And just to make sure she stayed quiet, Ellliot's boss hired her back as a finance manager, keeping her under control. Now, instead of scamming banks, he scams insecure men looking for success. He reinvented himself as a high-energy sales trainer using the same manipulation tactics that built his fraudulent career. And of course, he uses classic guru marketing tricks. His Sales Warrior playbook comes with $993 worth of free training. But there's a catch. You just have to pay $15.99 for shipping. That's a common ploy used by online marketers to build email lists and upsell even pricier courses. For starters, side-by-side comparisons show him lifting material from motivational speaker Jocko Willink, repackaging it, and passing it off as original. And it doesn't stop there. He even uses stock photos, digitally editing them to create the illusion of a wealthier lifestyle than he actually has. One of the most ridiculous examples? An image with Ellliot Group No Limits, slapped onto a clearly doctored stock photo. Then there's his outrageous self-promotion. Ellliot constantly brags about building a 9-figure company in just 3 years, training 11,000 businesses, and being the most sought-after public speaker. But when you dig into the details, none of these claims hold up. There's no solid proof of his company's actual earnings, no verified list of businesses he's worked with, and no legitimate recognition as a top speaker. One of the most bizarre and disturbing examples? He once forced audience members to strip off their shirts on stage, using their physical appearance as proof that they weren't successful because they weren't fit enough. His logic? If you don't have a six-pack, you'll never make money or get respect. He even told one attendee who didn't have a girlfriend, "You'd have one if you listen to what I say." Success doesn't require following a self-proclaimed alpha. It requires critical thinking, genuine skill development, and ethical behavior that Ellliot himself has consistently failed to demonstrate throughout his career too.